Let's head back to the early 90s for some excessive force. Welcome back to my channel. We're doing well out there, and today we're going to take a trip back in time to 1993, May 14th of 1993, for a little action film called Excessive Force. This movie had a budget of $3 million, and upon release it only made $1.1 million. Now, when New Line released this film, they only released it in major cities, so only got a regional release, and then it went right to the VHS rental market. So that's why the grosses are low. It's rated R, it's only an hour and 27 minutes long. And I want to give a shout out to Sal Razor. He's one of my subscribers. He suggested this film, asked me if I ever saw it. I actually thought I did until I sat down and watched this last night. I absolutely have never seen it, so I was laying fresh eyes on this film for the first time. Now, to find this film, I had to buy the DVD off of eBay for like $6. I couldn't find it on iTunes. I couldn't find it on Amazon, and I can only get the DVD because it's not available on Blu-ray. But I did track it down, and it was brand new, still wrapped into plastic, which is always a cool thing. Now, this film was directed by John Hess. John Hess got this directing gig because he pitched New Line on his idea to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Obviously, he didn't get that film. Jeff Bird did that film, but when this came around, they gave this to him, and he took the job. Now, he had done Alligator 2: The Mutation before this, a few other films, and he still works to this day, mostly in TV and direct-to-video fare. Now, New Line at the time was hoping Thomas Ian Griffith stars in this film as Terry McCann. He's a Chicago cop. Now, Thomas Ian Griffith was in Karate Kid Part 3. I'm just talking about theatrical films that people probably saw him in, and he played Valak in John Carpenter's Vampires, which I'm a huge fan of that film. I've never seen him in anything else other than those two films. And mostly he did direct-to-video action films and some TV work, so he didn't do a whole lot of theatrical movies. But this was New Line. They wanted to get their own action star under their banner, like Warner Brothers had with Steven Seagal, or MGM had with Van Damme, or so on and so forth. Stallone bounced around between companies, so he was never all with one company. But this was New Line's way of getting their own action star. So they gave Thomas Ian Griffith as an accomplished martial artist, so they gave him. He wrote this script, he produced the film, and he stars in this film here as Terry McCann, like I said. And he got a pretty damn good supporting cast around him. We got Tony Todd as Frankie. He is one of his partners on their little task force here. We got Lance Henriksen as Devlin. Lance Henriksen is always entertaining, no matter how shitty the film is. Lance Henriksen's always solid. We also got Burt Young in a non-Paulie role from Rocky as Sal DeMarco, this mob boss in Chicago that Terry wants to take down. And what the fuck is James Earl Jones doing in this film? I was so shocked when I knew he was in it because I saw it on the IMDb. But when he shows up, I'm like, why is he in this film? It just seems odd for him. And he plays Jake. He runs this blues club, and Terry lives above it. They've been friends for a while. And James Earl Jones, I was looking through his credits around that time. He did Sneakers in '92, this little spy movie, which was pretty cool. The Sandlot in '93, and he had his voice in The Lion King the year after this. And this was like just smack in the middle. It was kind of odd, but it was cool seeing James Earl Jones. He's always fun to see on screen, and he's always really solid. Now, this film is just, it's a police movie, a police action film set in Chicago. Terry, Frankie, and this other guy are a small little task force, and they're trying to take down Sal DeMarco, and they've tried to take him down several times. This time they think they got him. There's a $3 million drug bust going down, and they bust it up, but the guy with the money takes off. Frankie chases, and the guy disappears, the money's gone, and they don't really get to make a bust. And nobody knows where this money is, including Sal DeMarco, and he wants his money back, and he's starting to take revenge. He kills the one partner, which I can't remember his name, and his wife. And then he supposedly kills Frankie in a cool scene where Terry takes Frankie back to his apartment to change, and they're going to go out for a couple beers. And Frankie goes up to his apartment, Terry goes into one mini bar, gets some beers and some food, comes back out to the car, starts walking across the street. You can tell where some of the budget went for this film. It's a cool shot. Terry's walking towards the front door, and above him the apartment explodes. It's a really cool shot, done practically. Obviously it's '93. It looks cool. Now they only had $3 million. I know they saved some money for this scene. Definitely that's where they spent some of their cashola. And basically Terry wants revenge. He goes after Sal, and he realizes Sal's a pussy, and he walks out. He doesn't kill him. He was going to kill him. He doesn't kill him. And then all of a sudden, Sal gets found dead, and everybody thinks Terry did it. So now the cops are after him too, along with the mob. And then we find out Frankie's actually still alive because he's the one that took the $3 million, and he's in it with Devlin, who's the police chief. and they had Sal killed, and now they plan splitting the money, and Frankie's going to leave town. And Devlin pretty much tells Frankie he has to kill Terry, but he doesn't want to do it because they've been best friends for a long time, and he loves the guy. And we have a final confrontation between Devlin, Frankie, and Terry. Frankie doesn't want to kill Terry, Devlin kills Frankie, and then Terry kills Devlin, kicking him off this rooftop, and that's the end of Excessive Force. I skipped over some things, but it's basically the plot of the film. Now, there is a lot of action in this film for sure. It starts off on an action scene. There's like an action scene every 5 to 6 minutes in this film. So they were definitely concentrating the action. Again, like I said before, Thomas Ian Griffith is an accomplished martial artist, and you can tell he can do this stuff for real. He looks credible doing it. My only problem is some of the action, one, isn't shot the greatest. The director definitely... this movie looks a lot like it was shot for TV. I know it wasn't. It got a small theatrical release. The director dropped the ball definitely on some of these scenes. The action, it's competently made. I don't want to crap all over the director, but the action's missing a punch to it, no pun intended. They happen, and there's some exciting stuff there, and there's a lot of action for sure. I just don't think it's shot the greatest. I really don't. I don't think it's staged the greatest either. It's okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and it's certainly better than some other direct-to-video action movies. I mean, direct-to-video action movies tend to be really shitty. This is not in that class. It's an enjoyable little film, and it helps that there's a good cast there, because the supporting cast like Tony Todd, Lance Henriksen, Burt Young, James Earl Jones are really good. Some of the other actors I didn't mention aren't the greatest, but you have this core team of actors who are above average. There's above average acting for a movie of this type. And Thomas Ian Griffith has charisma, and he works well as this action hero. It's just unfortunate. I don't think they had the budget to pull off the things they wanted to do, but I still had fun with it. It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, and I know New Line was hoping this was going to give them their action star under their banner, and it didn't work out that way because the movie didn't do well upon release, and it went basically straight to VHS except for a limited release. But you can still have some fun with this. There's a lot of action. It's never boring. The plot keeps moving forward. And I had a decent enough time with it. I don't think it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I would give it a 6 out of 10. It was a decent little flick, helped by an amazing supporting cast here, which is really what helped this movie get to a 6. If it wasn't for the other cast members, this would have got a lower score. But with the caliber of actors you got here, it definitely helps bring it up. So yes, 6 out of 10 for Excessive Force. Have you ever seen this film? Leave a comment down below, let me know. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. I'll be back later in the week with a horror review. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I was thinking about it. I'm going to start going down the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I have the box set, the Blu-ray box set. I'm going to do one Nightmare on Elm Street film a week until we get through New Nightmare. And besides that, each week I'll do an action film and a 90s thriller, because I got to get through those like I said I was going to, because I've been slacking on those. But until Friday, I will leave you with bye.